Okay, great. So while we were on break, somebody said to me that, I think you're the only person that does that thing you do about sleep that's like really, really, really adamant about making sure you go to bed at a specific time, making sure that you wake up at a specific time. So let me just ask you, what does a good night's sleep feel like?
Amazing.
Really? Tell me about it.
You feel really rested. You feel so peaceful and nourished.
We need to get the camera on Pinata right now. She's just like,
And you feel like really nourished, really peaceful, really relaxed and rested next day.
I feel like you can conquer the world.
Yes, feel like $1 million. Yes, what about you, Shel?
Oh, I never get that much sleep, but last night I got like 6 hours and I felt good this morning when I woke up.
How did it feel? Did you feel rested when you woke up?
Yes, felt rested, ready to go.
What about you? What does it feel like when you get enough rest?
When I get plenty of rest, I feel I can handle most of what happens, and I don't get stressed by difficulties. It's there's lots of energy and reserves to kind of like handle the thing versus get uptight. If I have little sleep, I get irritable much faster, and
So
it
think
goes bad from there.
Think about how you wake up. Think about how the first 30 seconds, if you've gotten enough sleep versus if you have not gotten enough sleep. What does it feel like if you've gotten enough sleep? How do you wake up?
I'm excited.
I think Cheryl put it well. Ready.
Ready. Yeah, that is a great sum up word. And Pinata said excited.
Yeah, excited about what to do today.
Yeah.
Got a lot of energy.
It's a pleasurable feeling.
Yeah. It feels good. It's a pleasurable feeling. Yeah, versus, oh God. Somebody hand me my coffee before I open my eyes, right? Yeah. So is that something that's worth fighting for?
Yes.
Is it something that's worth protecting? Is it something that's worth dedicating your Saturday to? Yeah. So there may always be times in our life that we're a little up and down, we're a little better at this than we're not, but if we remember how much better we are for it and how much easier the rest of life is, then it's worth pursuing. It's worth doing. I think in very, very chronic sleep deprivation, there's a phase of rebuilding that goes through that's really uncomfortable because it's like dealing, it's like someone who hasn't paid their taxes for 10 years sitting down to do their accounting for the first time, right? How do you think that's gonna go? I have been with somebody when this happened, and I can tell you that it is not a pleasant experience for anybody in the room. I wasn't the person that hadn't paid my taxes, but let me tell you, it was not a pleasant experience for anybody in the room because I had so much to go through. And it felt so heavy and there was so much work to be done. And even though ultimately it didn't actually take that long to do the work, the process of it was very difficult. The brain is doing specific things at night. We're gonna be talking more about this in a moment, but the brain is doing specific things at night. And if it hasn't had a chance to do its job for a decade or so, then it's gonna have a lot of backlog to do. Is loss of sleep cumulative? If I miss sleep one night and then I miss sleep another night and then I miss sleep another night, did I miss 2 hours of sleep or did I miss 6 hours of sleep?
It's cumulative.
Yeah, it's cumulative, and the effect on the brain is cumulative. And you can look at a brain of chronic sleep deprivation, you can look at a brain that had healthy sleep every night and they look different. So the brain needs that time to regenerate. Okay, and we're also going to be talking about some things to do when you do miss some sleep to make sure that you're optimizing yourself for those kinds of situations. So let's quickly review. So we're going to take our pendulums, and just for the review here, everyone show me yes. Okay, good. And then show me no. Nobody has an extra pendulum on them, do they? Okay. And then show me unwind, uninstall. And then show me wind up and install. And I don't mean move it that way. I mean, you're showing, testing it, showing me.
That's just what it does now.
Okay, cool. Okay, good. So all of those things are working. So when you're using your pendulum, you can use your pendulum to do the energy work that we're going to be doing today, or you can do Shen technique. So the advantage of the pendulum is that you can see how long something takes. The advantage of Shen technique is that it is faster. So Shen technique goes, make the number 2 on either side, one hand on top of the other, doesn't matter which one, and it goes switch, circle, slide, lock, and flick. Okay, we'll do this again. Switch, circle, slide, lock, and flick. Okay, good. Everybody got that? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay. So, and we'll be doing it together when we do the techniques. I'm also going to teach you Neigong. So this is Neigong translates to inner skill, and this is the training of the body's tendons, bones, breath, mind, emotion, and spirit to facilitate internal power. So when you do this on somebody else, let me show you how to do it on yourself first. You can do it on yourself just by clicking your thumb and your forefinger together. It actually doesn't matter which finger you click. Any of those are fine, but you can just click your thumb and your forefinger together. So it's easy to do, it's easy to remember, and you can do this when you're lying in bed, right? And you can just go click, 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 click. If you're doing this on somebody else, you brace their finger with your finger, and then you take your thumb and you're going to press on the bit of meat between the fingernail and that distal joint there. So you're going to press right there. And ideally you want to do this long enough to get the energy frequency. So it's not just like, it's kind of annoying to the energy field, right? It's more like, it doesn't really matter how fast you go, you're not going to do it wrong, but do pay attention to what you're doing. Don't just be like, this is not Neigong. Okay, I need to get butter at the grocery store. Oh, and I gotta take the dog out, and that's not Neigong. That is just being scattered in your energy and reinforcing scattered energy. So pay attention to what you're doing. You're doing energy work. It is very powerful. Stay focused on it so that you are putting the right energy frequency into your body. So you might be doing search, remove, clear, all glitches with my sleep. You're welcome. Right, so it's very powerful. Thank you. I'll stop doing that so you don't have to keep getting. It is hard to laugh and yawn at the same time. That's funny. Okay, so that's one of the ways that you can do this. Another one of the ways that you can do this, this is called the Huajing twist, and this is the mysterious power. These are techniques which emphasize training and conditioning the mind's imagination. So these are very advanced Shen techniques. The mind's imagination and intention to project and utilize the power of the individual's Shen or spirit. And so here you'll twist. So you'll do this on your own body like this. So you just take that middle digit, and it's a gentle twist. You're interacting with the chi, so you don't have to like wrench it. It's not like crank, right?
Oops,
It's just
mo welding.
right. It's just you're reaching into the energy. You'll feel this just as soon as you feel that shift. Yep, as soon as you feel that twist. So let me show on you so that you can feel it. So, yep, just that. Just that. So just that. Okay, good. So that's the washing twist. All of these different techniques are beneficial, they're powerful, they're useful, and you can use different ones. So sometimes you might notice that one works better with the other. Having used these all for several years, I will find myself cycling through and finding out, okay, what's everything that I can use Neigong for, and then what's everything that I can use Shin technique for, and what's everything that I can use washing twist for, and finding out which frequencies respond best. They might be different things at different times. So just to reinforce on page 9, what's so wrong with losing a little sleep? So this is from the Huffington Post. According to the Division of Sleep Medicine at the Harvard Medical School, the short-term productivity gains from skipping sleep to work are quickly washed away by the detrimental effects of sleep deprivation on your mood, ability to focus, and access to higher level brain functions for days to come. The negative effects of sleep deprivation are so great that people who are drunk outperform those lacking sleep. Don't. I remember when I was in school, I had a test coming up that I was really nervous about. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, what's the famous word? I'm gonna pull an all-nighter, right? So I got a Diet Coke because somebody said that Diet Coke had more caffeine in it than regular Coke did. I don't know. I never drank Diet Coke. It was disgusting. But anyways, I got a Diet Coke and I had a can of Jolt. Anybody remember Jolt?
Oh,
Yeah, so I got a can of Jolt and then I got some caffeine tablets. Yep, and of course coffee, right? So I got all this stuff and I'm trucking along and I'm studying and I'm taking my caffeine and I'm doing the thing and I'm going faster and faster and I could study more, I could do more, and then I fall asleep. Just flat out fell asleep because it turns out that your body needs water to function, and water is usually a much better way of staying awake than caffeine is, because if you're dehydrated, your body's gonna go into shutdown mode. So I drank a bunch of caffeine, peed a lot, and went right to sleep. In fact, I think if I recall correctly, I got a great night's sleep that night. It wasn't what I was trying to do. I was trying to, study for my exam. But why you need adequate sleep to perform. So I think that's a really, really, really powerful statement, that people who are drunk outperform those who are sleep deprived. So it's really, 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 really a worthy effort. Or take up drinking. I mean, one or the other. So it's a really worthy effort to invest in figuring out how to get the sleep in. One of the questions that people ask me commonly are, what about people who work swing shift? And how and Cheryl's recently gone through this, right?
Yeah.
How'd it go? How did it affect your sleep?
Oh, it was horrible. I didn't have a sleep pattern at all.
What did that feel like? Can I put you on the spot?
Oh, I would get home about 11 o'clock at night and then have to my body automatically wakes up every morning at like 6.
Which is a healthy sign. It means your cortisol. Okay. So you were
So-
only ever
Getting like 3-4 hours of sleep, depending on how quick I fell asleep, for like 6 months.
and it wasn't the same schedule.
No, it went from sometimes I had to be at work at like 10 in the morning, and then sometimes 7 in the morning. But I was always getting off later and later at night. Some days I was working like 12-hour shifts. It was crazy.
Yeah, the swing shift is really, really, really hard, especially lack of regularity. If you do have to work at night, if you at least have the same schedule every night, you've probably been through this too, yeah? Some of the job-induced sleep deprivation. If you do have to live in that kind of environment, then regularity is going to be the key to your success. If you can at least get on a regular schedule. So if your bedtime is 4 o'clock in the morning every night, then at least try to do that every night. So then you're sleeping 8 hours from that point on, or as much as you possibly can. It is always going to be deleterious on the body not to sleep during the hours that we're going to talk about here in the Chinese meridian clock. But it's always going to be hard on the body for the organs not to have their time to rest and restore the body during the specific hours of the night. And this has to do with where you are on the planet. It has to do with the sun rising and the sun setting and the earth spinning. And if you are working counter to all of those rhythms and frequencies, then very likely it's gonna go poorly for you. There are a few people that are wired differently, so this is why I energy measure people for what their optimal bedtimes are and what their optimal amount of sleep is. There are a few people that I run across that have wildly different bedtimes and they have wildly different amounts of sleep. But they're very, very, very few and far between. So we've always known that sleep is good for your brain, but new research from the University of Rochester provides the first direct evidence for why your brain cells need you to sleep and sleep the right way. The study found that when you sleep, your brain removes toxic proteins from its neurons that are byproducts of neural activity when you're awake. Unfortunately, your brain can remove them adequately only while you're asleep. So when you don't get enough sleep, the toxic proteins remain in your brain cells, wreaking havoc by impairing your ability to think, something no amount of caffeine can fix. What might this look like? What does it feel like when you can't think as clearly?
Brain fog.
Brain fog. Which usually, if everybody else around you seems like they're thinking clearly and you're not thinking clearly, usually spikes some sort of insecurity, which usually increases brain fog, because then we're donating circuits to, am I really stupid? I was recently in this dermatology class that I'm studying for. This is fantastic coursework that I'm taking. It is as much internal medicine and Chinese herbology as it's just fantastic, right? And I had been taking the class in one city, and due to a schedule conflict, I went to another city to take the class, and I get there and I'm like, I am very prepared. I study well for my classes. I really practice this stuff in clinic, and I show up and I'm like, I think the first day, I'm like, man, these people in here are really smart, and I'm used to being pretty smart, right? I'm just like, wow, they have really got it going on here. And I'm like, and I have this moment of like, should I not ask questions because I'm not as smart as these people? Which quickly fell by the wayside because I ask questions no matter what. And and at the end of the second day, 3-day class, at the end of the second day, I start learning why. A lot of the people in the class, this was their second or third time taking the class. The coursework was that good that they elected to repeat it so that they could learn more and more and more. And I found that the quality of their questions made me even smarter, made me think better, right? And yet still, I did notice that the afternoon drowsies hit this group, and they would get very sleepy and their questions would get a little bit slower in the afternoons. By the way, this was in a place that was 3 hours time shifted from me, and it was the weekend before my half Ironman. So I was on an extremely strict training schedule. I desperately wanted to stay on my own sleep schedule, my East Coast sleep schedule, because I knew that it was gonna wreck me if I got off on their schedule. So I was racing home from class at 5 o'clock in the evening when it was still bright and sunshiny outside, and crawling right into bed. This meant that I had to eat multiple meals during class because I had to get all my food in during class, and I also was waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning in order to go get all of my training in, right? So yes, I fight for my sleep because I know how much it really, 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 really matters. Skipping sleep impairs your brain function across the board. It slows your ability to process information and problem solve. It kills your creativity, and it catapults your stress levels and your emotional reactivity. Anybody get a little bit emotional when you're sleep deprived? And is it the good emotions? Not usually. In fact, we might experience more flatness, where it's like, Santa Claus just gave that little homeless boy a puppy that he's always wanted for Christmas. That's nice. You know, right? Like, we just don't have any reaction to it. Or we might have a lot more of the negative reactions where we'll find ourselves really irritable for no apparent reason. What sleep deprivation does to your health? Sleep deprivation is linked to a variety of serious health problems, including heart attack, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. By the way, lack of sleep is one of the best ways to mess up your metabolism that there is. You can have the exact same diet and the exact same workout schedule and not be getting sleep, and it will be very difficult for you to lose weight. It stresses you out because your body overproduces the stress hormone cortisol when it's sleep deprived. While excess cortisol has a host of negative health effects that come from the havoc it wreaks on your immune system, it also makes you look older. Because cortisol breaks down skin collagen, the protein that keeps skin smooth and elastic. In men specifically, not sleeping enough reduces testosterone levels and lowers sperm count. Okay, so let's have everybody, now that I've been reading to you for a little while, let's have everybody stand up again. And we're gonna take a Qigong coffee break. So we've already done our 3 deep cleansing breaths. So we're gonna do our kidney Qigong, and you've already learned this one, so you know how it goes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Good. And Jim, please join us for this one. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, great. Have a seat. So that is actually what we do at our clinic. If we're sleepy and we feel like we need some coffee, we take a Qigong coffee break. Or we have some delicious green tea, or we have some awesome Chinese herbal teas, or we have some of our other fantastic supplements. But we do the things that make us stronger, that contribute to our health and energy over time, because, for example, coffee very much depletes the yin of our kidneys, and that weakens us over time. And in Florida, we have so much mold that we're constantly exposed to because we've got hurricanes, we've got oceans, we've just got all this mold kicking around that even the small amount of mold that's in coffee is we tend to be very sensitive to, and it can cause us, strangely, the exact kinds of symptoms that coffee withdrawal look like. So if you tend to drink coffee every day and you go without it, then what do you experience? Headaches? Mm-hmm. What else? Tiredness? Yes, very good.
Sleepy.
Yeah, the fatigue, the brain fog, the sleepiness, just this kind of overall groggy thing. By the way, those are the exact same symptoms of mycotoxin die-off in your body. So it is impossible to tell the difference between one or the other than if you get off the coffee and you no longer have those symptoms, then what you have discovered is that coffee wasn't actually helping you long term. And for some people, it's very deleterious. Okay, people who sleep less than 6 hours a night are 30% more likely to become obese than those who sleep 7 to 9 hours a night. So it's a direct contributor to your weight gain, and also so is stress in general. So if you are going through a very stressful time and you're not getting enough straight sleep, which is usually they go together, right? Because there's a reason you're not getting enough straight sleep, or not getting enough sleep in and of itself is stressful to you, then you will find it very difficult to lose weight, and specifically you will start thickening up around your middle, and then it goes out from there. Everybody clear? Anybody think that missing sleep is good? Are there times that it might be worth it to miss sleep? Yeah. And if there are times that it might be worth it to miss sleep, then what do we have to have in order to take advantage of those times?
The ability to get back.
The ability to get back, yeah, we have to be well rested to begin with. Right? A one-off, a great concert, your favorite band being in town, like absolutely, you want to go to your favorite band, right? Like that's a fantastic experience. It's nourishing to your soul. So it's totally worth it. However, if you're walking into that with 6 days of sleep deprivation, then, well, first of all, you're not even going to enjoy your favorite band all that much. You might even be irritated and cranky walking into it, or even if that's all okay, you might be in danger driving home because now you've been like sleep deprived and then awesome and all of those fabulous neurochemicals are kicking around the brain, and then you walk out and they go whoosh, your body goes oof. You're just ready to kind of collapse. And then, God bless you, and then you're in a very, very, very dangerous state of now this body just wants to go into shutdown. Have I sold you on the importance of sleep?
Yes.
Oh, well, not yet. We have another picture here. So on page 11, you'll see side effects from missing sleep. We've talked about irritability, cognitive impairment, memory lapses or loss, and even impaired moral judgment. If you are functioning on not all of your cylinders, then you don't have the same kind of capability to make good decisions, including certain parts of your brain that are affected by lack of sleep that affect moral judgment. And these might include ethical decisions. Well, kind of like, I think before class started, I was telling the story of I was in a session with someone and I got the nudge. I got it, like, do this one particular thing. And I was moving very quickly, and so I didn't stop and really check in and see if I needed to do that one particular thing right now. Fortunately, when she came back a couple weeks later, I could redo that, but thankfully I wasn't sleep deprived, so I noticed it and I remembered it at least, even if I didn't act on it then. If I had been sleep deprived also, then I might well have been, like forgot that it came through, or if I had been super on my game, then I probably would have done the thing right then and not had to wait until the next time. Does that make sense? Do you understand how lack of sleep can lead to impaired moral judgments? Good. Decreased creativity, increased stress, symptoms similar to ADHD, impaired immune system, so we're a lot more likely to get sick if we're missing sleep. Risk of type 2 diabetes, decreased testosterone, which is not just for men, it is also for women, ladies. This is our get up and go juice. This is our movement to activity. Think of that little 4-year-old boy running around and he's got to get, everybody run around. We're just gonna sit. We're just gonna take a break. Increased heart rate variability, risk of heart disease and stroke, increased reaction time, decreased accuracy, tremors, aches, and then even growth suppression, obesity, and decreased temperature.
What do you mean by decreased temperature? Like your body will be cold?
Yeah. So if you've ever had the experience of, like, when you're sleep deprived, you're like, I just might want to make sure I have a blanket here or have a jacket with me. Like, you might just be colder than you usually are, or colder than other people tend to be.
I often will shiver if I'm really tired.
I'm cold all the time, so it doesn't. But I just thought that was weird.
Yes.
Hair dryer.
Okay. So we've talked about this. Just to really drive this point home, I want to share with you on the bottom of page 12. So we can go 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, but it's only 10 days for sleep before it's death. We can live longer without food than we can without sleep, which is really quite a statement, right? And what I really want to drive your attention to is at the bottom of page 12, there's a list of certain disasters. 3 Mile Island, Chernobyl, Bhopal, Zeebrugge, and the Exxon Valdez oil spill were all caused by sleep deprivation. All of these disasters happened because one or more people were sleep deprived, and that's how these accidents happened. Okay, why is sleep deprivation fatal? Well, for one thing, you make poor decisions, for example, Chernobyl. The brain is doing important work while you're asleep. Looking at the Chinese meridian clock, you can see which organs are doing the most work when. So if you turn to the next page, on page 14, you'll see that Chinese meridian clock there. So let's see. Ernesto, would you please tell me which organ is most active between 7 and 9 p.m.?
Pericardium.
Good. So, and what is the pericardium responsible for?
Protecting the heart.
Yep, the pericardium is the lining that goes around the heart. So This is the best time, I should not fiddle with the microphone because that's going to be very loud, sorry. This is the best time for quiet, gentle time. This is the best time for reflection, for light reading, for journaling, making love, or making love to yourself. And now we're taking a break.